I'd like to first start off, before I start this presentation, of thanking my mentor, thanking the Community Engagement Institute, and then also thanking the McNair staff. So the research project that I conducted is titled Assessing the Functionality of the Support Groups in Kansas Website Through Analysis of Its Improvements. As I said, my name is Raven Hodges. I'm a current MSW student, and my mentor, it was Amber Dean of the Community Engagement Institute. So support groups are essentially, they're communities of people. Okay. Is that better? Hello? Okay. So support groups are essentially communities of people that come together for a commonality. So it could be that we're both experiencing some type of cancer, we are new mothers, and we need advice of some sort. So they're just coming together to share whatever their experience is, and from there you would take something and incorporate it into your life. So the purpose of the research that I conducted was that Community Engagement Institute, they own or created a website called supportgroupsinkansas.com. And on that website, they were in the process of updating it. And so I felt that it would be an awesome opportunity to use my McNair research to kind of gauge what the audience wanted as they update the system. This was a primary data analysis, so meaning that I was the one that conducted it. I didn't take it from another source. Then we used Qualtrics survey, software survey, to distribute and create the survey. And the data was collected through a survey of 26 questions. There was 3 preliminary questions. There were 6 demographic questions, and there were 9 website functionality questions. We used pivot tables and to put data into graphs, and we also used Google Analytics to compare what we received to what its overall the website does, and then SPSS to just view the data. So results, there were 20 participants in the survey. The first question that we found significant data from was, have you found a similar website? And so 18 out of the 20 participants stated that they have not used a similar website, and so that just shows that this website, there's a need for it. And then also when seeking resources, who were they for? So 13 out of 20 participants stated that it was for somebody else. So that kind of helps us to gauge that our audience is people that are caretakers or those that are service providers. So that helps when finding support groups and deciding what should we put on there with articles and other things like that. How often did you visit the website in the last 30 days? So 13 out of 20 participants stated that they have visited the website between 1 to 2 times. So that just means that people are using the website, that it's not just there in vain. And then income, that 40% of participants reported income between $30,000 and $59,000 and $60,000 and above. That just shows that the people that are using it, they're middle to upper income. So kind of catering our resources. So if we wanted to have people from low income, how do we provide access to them? Some of the responses at the end, as I mentioned earlier, there was an open-ended section. And some of the responses, most of them were just stating that this was an excellent resource. However, not a lot of people know about the resource, or that the actual support group, when you go look for it, theirs wasn't there, or that county wasn't there. And that's something that I can say that I've seen, because I was one of the people that worked behind the scenes to update resources. And I could say that there was a few incidents that we had where there wasn't people represented. So the overall observation was that it was very positive. Not many people had negative things to say, participants, and that it appears to be mainly used by caretakers, as mentioned earlier, and service providers. So the implications from the observation were that the CEI, Community Engagement Institute, should expand their research, because 20 participants is not that much. When we're looking at Google Analytics, it was probably about more than 2,000 people that use the website on a daily basis. So if we're only getting 20 participants, that's not a huge number. But so making sure that we're using Community Engagement Institute, since they use government contracts, so using those contracts that they have to gain people to do the survey, and also WSU, since an affiliate association with WSU, using their agencies that they have as well. And then also, so that aids with the broader audience, and then a larger data pool, hopefully gathering from those solutions. So minimizing foot traffic of researchers. So when I go onto there, I collect a footprint. So when I went to Google Analytics to compare, I can't take that off. So that was just one limitation that we had. However, there was like probably 3 people that actually did that, so it's not that significant, the grand scheme of things, but if we wanted accurate data, that would have to be something that we would look into. How can we decipher whose footprint was whose? And then adding gender demographic questions, we felt that that would have been more important to include. So for support groups, we can add them if we saw that that was a need. And also properly defining what the use of support group in Kansas website meant. So before you took the survey, under the consent section after that, the question was, have you used the support groups in Kansas website? And so what we meant by that was if you've been on the website and clicked through it, some people, they kind of could have interpreted as, I've been on the website, but I haven't used a resource, so therefore I haven't used it. So we could have lost participants from that. And then in conclusion, a lot of participants, they stated that this was an excellent resource, as mentioned before, and that support groups in Kansas is doing a phenomenal job, a great job at what they're doing. And then just those areas of improvements that were mentioned earlier of having consistent updates and then having all the counties represented would be something that they would love to see. Any questions?
First of all, good job.
Thank you.
Quick question. From your research, what support groups were they most likely to say that they used? Was it like for cancer? Was it Alcoholics Anonymous?
So what we did, we didn't get specific in what type of support groups you did. It was mostly because there was the resource section, there was the calendar, there was the support group, like search button, and there were a few other options. So we based it off of that. What resources on the website are you using? So from there, if CEI would like to, I feel like that would be the next step of going specifically into, what section? Are you the cancer section, or is it Alcoholics Anonymous? Like, what is it? So that was not what we viewed in the survey.
Excellent job. If you had to make some changes, what changes would you make, and why would you make those changes? And were you excited about this research?
So changes. So as I mentioned before, I worked on this updating the website, like updating the resources on there. So it would be helpful if there were more people doing that, because there's over 1,000 different support groups. And so the website previously hadn't been updated probably since early 2000s. And so that was a lot of work for a year. Well, really wasn't. It was August to May that I worked on it. So, and it was me and someone else. And so it would have been helpful if we had more people to update it, and then we could have been more innovative in how we did certain things if there was more than 2 people. Was I excited? I was excited, and I still am excited. I guess it might not have shown. But so yes, I was excited to do the research that I did. I was the one that proposed this. I was like, hey, there's a connection piece. So that was an area of interest. Any other questions?
Hello, good presentation. Thank you. My question is, do they have a tracking mechanism to see how many people actually visit that website?
So it's paired with Google Analytics, so that was the main way of how to use it. Kind of like you just register your website to Google Analytics, and then when you go into Google Analytics, it shows a whole bunch of things like what countries people are coming from, how many clicks on a certain section. It was just hard to, because it can track it from the day that you start the website to whenever. So it's just hard to kind of navigate certain things on it, but there's an option for that.
So there's room for improvement so that they might be able to better track the countries, the people, the needs, et cetera, and give us some quantitative data, right?
Yes, it's kind of, you can't really, because it's for Kansas, so that's the first thing. So a lot of people, if you have people from Germany, which was a thing, or people from France that are using it, it doesn't really have much value to them per se if they're not in Kansas. And it's hard to gather if you're trying to get information of like income, or if you're trying to get information about what are they specifically using. It's kind of hard to navigate it because you don't know if you wanted to get more in depth, if that makes sense. It just gives a general, you clicked here, and this is how long you were on there. It doesn't give you more information. So if you're seeking more information, it's hard to keep track of that 2,000 people because you don't know who they are.
Hi, Raven. How did you all recruit participants? I may have missed that, but you said that there was over 2,000 people using the website, and then the 20, were they given, was there a space on the website for them to give their email address or something like that?
So there was a link on the website. There was a banner on the website that said that we're doing a survey, and there was also like a link on the website as well. I feel like also that could have been a limitation as well. The little link was below it, underneath it, so you couldn't click on the sliding presentation to go directly to it, so that could have been a hindrance as well. But then we also I sent out emails to the staff at Community Engagement Institute when we had staff meetings. I mentioned it. When I spoke at different engagements within the community, I handed out flyers, so I was kind of everywhere.